Girl, I think we just witnessed one of those nights that Jikook fans will never forget. First, Jungkook went looking for Jimin again among everyone and ended up guiding him with such a natural gesture that it seemed like a reflex. Then, a detail emerged that sparked a flurry of theories: their return to the same special restaurant they had visited years before. But that wasn't all. In the middle of the concert, Jungkook blew a kiss, leaving many wondering if it was really meant for the fans or just one person. And as if that weren't enough, we also saw those glances and movements that seemed to draw them closer again and again. The most incredible thing is that the restaurant confirmed a new visit that directly connects to their history. Stay until the end because every piece fits together too perfectly to be a coincidence. On the second day of the London concert, we all witnessed something that left Jikook fans breathless. Amidst all the activity on stage, Jungkook quickly turned to find Jimin. He didn't just look for him, he extended his hand and gently guided him to walk ahead. It was a clear sign of how Jungkook always wants to look after Jimin and make sure he's safe and by his side at all times. These kinds of gestures are what we, who follow their story, love the most because they demonstrate that their relationship is real and beautiful. It's not the first time this has happened. We all remember that video after the concert where Jungkook tried to hold Jimin's hand. Every time they're together, it's clear they're connected in a special way, where a small hand gesture or a look means much more than any words. Seeing how Jungkook cares about guiding Jimin and how Jimin lets himself be led by him confirms how well they work as a couple. For those of us who love watching Jikook, these moments are pure gold. It's heartwarming to see that, even when there are lots of people around or they're in the middle of a huge show, they always have time for these protective and affectionate gestures that show they're there for each other. After their concert in London, BTS went to dinner at a Korean barbecue restaurant called Olle. What makes this moment extra special for us is that it's the same place Jikook visited on their own back in 2019. It's amazing to see them returning to places that were important to them years ago. This clearly shows that these places aren't just random, but rather corners that hold a very intimate and private meaning for both of them. As Jikook fans, we love seeing that they have their own favorite spots. Returning to that restaurant where they were together a while ago demonstrates that they like to relive their special moments and keep alive the story they built years ago. While others go to different places, they prefer to return to where they were once happy, which is a very clear sign that their relationship is something they cherish and value deeply, making time to be together away from the cameras. Now that they're in London, it's so sweet to know that they were able to return to that restaurant to enjoy a wonderful meal. We truly hope you enjoyed your meal, felt comfortable, and that this time allows you to relax after so much work. You deserve to make the most of your day off, unwind, and enjoy these moments just for you, reaffirming that Jikook continues to be the couple that brings so much joy to all of us who always support them. During the second day in London, we saw a very specific detail that made us all think about Jikook. Jungkook approached Jimin and blew a kiss, although at first glance it seemed like a gesture towards the audience. If you look closely, you can see that the kiss was meant for Jimin. It was a movement that lasted barely a second, but it felt very warm and genuine. It's incredible how even in a stadium full of people, they find a way to have these gestures that seem to be just for the two of them. Sometimes, the smallest things they do tell us the most about their relationship, because they don't need to speak for us to know what they feel. Seeing Jungkook make that gesture towards Jimin confirms that, no matter who's watching, their attention is always on each other, leaving a smile on our faces that lasts long after the concert ends. These natural moments show us why we love following Jikook as a couple so much. They aren't rehearsed performances, but spontaneous reactions they have when they're close. When Jungkook does this, it's a clear sign that their relationship is solid and that they always seek to connect. It's exciting to notice these details because they allow us to see that tender and protective side that only comes out when they're together, making every second of their interaction precious to us. Also on this second day of the concert, something very curious happened when Jungkook stood still for a moment, leaving a small space next to Jin. What caught everyone's attention was that his gaze wasn't lost, but rather kept returning to Jimin. Jungkook stayed there, watching Jimin, and only when he saw him sit down did he decide to move away. Almost simultaneously, we saw Jimin start walking towards Jungkook, but at the last second, he decided to change direction. This kind of visual and movement interplay is very typical of them. It all happened with absolute naturalness, as if it were something they always do without thinking. These few seconds are among those quiet and touching moments that, as Jikook fans, we can't overlook because they show us how they move in the same space, adjusting to each other. These kinds of actions confirm that there is a constant synchronicity between Jikook. It's not just being in the same place, but the way they observe each other and adapt to each other's movements. It's so lovely to see how, even seemingly simple things, represent clear signs of their bond. Watching them gaze at each other and coordinate their steps on stage makes us appreciate their relationship even more, reaffirming why they're our favorite couple and why we always pay attention to every detail they share. Olle Restaurant in London officially confirmed that they had the pleasure of hosting all 7 members of BTS after their concert yesterday. This is incredibly exciting because this place is already part of the boys' personal history, and especially Jikook's. We all know that Jimin and Jungkook dined there on their own in 2019, and Seokjin also visited that same year. Seeing the entire group return 7 years later to the same place where Jikook had already shared special moments is truly touching and makes us appreciate every step they take together even more. For us, who closely follow every interaction of Jikook, it's so sweet to see them choose to return to places they already know and that hold deep meaning for their relationship. All Korean Barbecue is a well-known restaurant in London and hosts many artists, but for BTS and their fans, this place has a completely different significance. It has become a meeting point that connects their memories from years ago with their present, creating a new chapter in the group's story and, above all, reinforcing the special connection Jikook has maintained with this place ever since. It's as if time hasn't passed, allowing them to reunite in the same spot where they began building those intimate memories. What makes this even more moving is thinking about how they themselves chose their destination after such a long and exhausting night. By choosing this specific restaurant, Jikook isn't just returning to a place on the map, but going back to a private corner where, at the time, they could relax and enjoy a meal away from the pressure. The fact that the rest of the group accompanied them on this visit shows that this place is a safe haven and dear to everyone, but for those of us who love Jikook's story, it's impossible not to see it as a refuge where their bond continues to grow stronger, far from the stage lights and cameras that follow them daily. We also love thinking about how comfortable they feel being there together. Knowing they chose to return to the place where they were once happy confirms that for them, places aren't just 4 walls, but spaces where they've shared a part of their private lives. Every time they return to a place they've already marked with their history, it's as if they're renewing that bond that unites them, indirectly showing us how important it is for them to maintain their personal traditions. It's exciting to note that, despite their current worldwide fame, simple details remain what they value most at the end of their workday. It's incredible to think about everything that has happened since 2019 until now, and seeing them reunited in the same restaurant fills us with immense joy. For the owners, it must be a tremendous honor, and for us, as fans, it's the ultimate proof that they truly value the places where they've felt good and comfortable. During his closing speech on the second day in London, Jimin once again moved the entire stadium and those of us watching from outside. He didn't just talk about the show, he took the time to connect with each person present in an incredibly personal way. By asking us to be kind to our families, to lovingly care for our pets, specifically mentioning our dogs and cats, and to strive every day in our studies or jobs, Jimin showed that his concern for our well-being is genuine. It was a moment that transformed a simple farewell speech into a warm and heartfelt embrace for thousands of fans, demonstrating that his humanity is as great as his talent. What truly left us speechless and touched our hearts was his final request when, with his characteristic sweetness, he asked us, "Did you have fun today? Make a lot of money, study hard, and don't forget to think of me every day, promise." It's impossible not to feel a deep connection with him after hearing him say something like that. Jimin has that unique ability to make us feel like an important part of his life, transforming a concert night into a memory we'll cherish forever. His words weren't just empty rhetoric, they felt like a direct message, full of tenderness, inviting us to keep him present in our daily lives, creating a bond that goes far beyond music or simply being an artist in front of his fans. For those of us who follow Jikook's story, seeing Jimin so expressive, kind, and approachable confirms once again why he's such a special person and why his inner light shines so brightly. He not only cares about his own well-being and that of his groupmates, but he also seeks to extend that care to all of us, his fans. That genuine desire to be remembered every day is the clearest sign that he also deeply values the support and affection he constantly receives. Jimin not only asks us to remember him, but he invites us to be part of his personal story, letting his voice and positive energy accompany and guide us long after the lights go down and the concert ends. It's truly incredible how, in just a few minutes in front of the microphone, Jimin can leave such a deep and lasting mark on our hearts. His advice on taking care of our physical and mental health, along with that fun and tender touch when he mentions our pets, gives us a much more real and human perspective of who he is offstage, someone who genuinely values kindness and the simple details of everyday life. As fans, it's our commitment to keep that promise he so lovingly asked of us. We will definitely think of him every day, remembering this moment in London as one of the most beautiful examples of his humility and the authentic love he transmits to everyone without even trying. It's in moments like these that you stop to think, they are definitely drawn to each other in a magnetic and natural way. Even though the stage platform was ready to lower and finish their part of the performance, Jimin preferred to stay there a little longer, waiting for Jungkook so they could both come down together. It's as if, amidst thousands of screaming people, bright lights everywhere, and the intensity of the show, Jimin's first and only concern was simply, where is he? It's precisely this naturalness that deeply captivates those of us who follow their story, because it's not a rehearsed pose or something acted out for the audience, but a pure instinct that comes out spontaneously. In this action, there's no exaggeration or anything resembling planned theatricality, it's simply one waiting for the other, just as they have done so many times throughout all these years. The most incredible thing is that they don't even seem to realize that those brief seconds end up becoming one of the most tender and talked about moments of the entire concert. While many people in the audience only pay attention to the choreography, the costumes, or the music, we, as Jikook fans, are captivated by these small details. That's where the true magic lies, in noticing how they look out for each other amidst the chaos, showing us that their priority is always to be on the same page. Jimin's gesture of stopping to wait for Jungkook confirms, once again, how well they know each other and the vital importance the other has in their personal space. It's not an isolated gesture or a coincidence, it's a constant habit they share, teaching us that, for both of them, being together is the absolute priority, even above adhering to a strict schedule or a technical production move. It's so sweet and heartwarming to see that, no matter how many people are watching them at that moment, they maintain this habit of moving in unison, as if they were synchronized in their own little bubble within the enormous stadium. Observing these things, it's impossible not to feel happy and excited. These are the moments that reassure us that their bond is something that flows constantly, calmly, and very real. Seeing Jimin seek out Jungkook to share that brief moment after leaving the stage is a clear sign of their connection and how much they value each other's company. For those of us who love watching Jikook, this is the ultimate proof that they function as an inseparable team, a pair who care for each other, wait for each other, and support each other, making even the end of a song a beautiful story that shows us, once again, that their relationship is the most important thing in their daily lives.